we did the Niners, did the Eagles. Now this team, man, Laramie Tunsil. This whole story, like the whole start of the story is crazy. But they did a couple trades. So they traded from 3 to 12 with the Niners. Then they traded up from 12 to 6 with the Eagles. What were your thoughts on the double trade? I think we both agree that it was solid. What are your overall just like thoughts on this?
If I had to pick a winner, in terms of this entire thing, like the Niners are technically a winner, right? Because they're going to go get their quarterback. And whenever you're going and getting your quarterback, you're a winner in any trade. But the Niners also gave up a lot of assets to go up to 3. So they're not going to, in a situation, they're likely not getting the guy who's the best quarterback on the board. I think we can agree with that. Philadelphia is kind of in a hamstring position because I think they're missing out now on a premium player in possibly a Kyle Pitts. I don't love Jamar Chase, but I still think he's a very, very good player, so they're missing out on him. And same thing with Devontae Smith, who I do love. So for that reason, I think Miami absolutely killed it. They absolutely won this trade by far. For them, first of all, to parlay Laramie Tunsil, who, first of all, they should have never drafted in the first place because he should have gotten in the top 3.
Should be
right, but they drafted him at 12 or 13, so that was premium value. Then get 3 years of production out of him, or 2 years. 3 years. And then trade him for essentially now 4 first-round picks. Now they had too many first-round picks to play with, so then they get themselves back up to 6. And now because of the way the quarterbacks are going, they're probably getting one of two of the players they would have targeted at 3. And they have a good chance to get a guy who I think is the best non-quarterback player in the draft in Kyle Pitts, or get a Jamar Chase or a Devonta Smith. I mean, what Miami's done here is incredible.
Yeah. So I think the whole beginning of it is just like hilarious. So obviously Laramie Tunsil fell on draft day due to a video of him with a banned substance. And so he fell. He was like, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to go to number 6 or 5 to the Ravens. They ended up taking Ronnie Stanley. So, I mean, they didn't really lose out on much. Like, Ronnie Stanley's awesome. They get Laramie Tunsil. They trade him and Kenny Stills for 2 firsts and a second. That is insane. So thank you, Bill O'Brien. And I think another thing with this too, Vish, I don't know if you heard about this, but apparently when the Dolphins front office told him what they were trading him for, Laramie Tunsil said, I would trade me for that too. So Laramie Tunsil, he knows. He definitely is a cool dude in that regard. And then, so I guess we can dig deep into like what they should do at 6. So you're thinking Kyle Pitts is your main option.
If they get Kyle Pitts, like, just watch out. My God. Because to me, I don't – if Kyle Pitts ends up being, like, anything but very good in the NFL, then I'll just be shocked. Because to me right now, like, in terms of just football-wise, like, obviously you don't know with him, like, in terms of the off-the-field stuff, like, we don't know those things. But in terms of him just football-wise, like, he's a great route runner. He's great after the catch. He's big. He's fast. His catch radius is incredible. He's an incredible contested catch player. He can line up as an X receiver. He can line up as a Z receiver. He can line up in the slot. He can line up inline. And I think the entire idea of saying, move him to receiver is a load of crap, because he's actually not a bad blocker. He's a willing and solid blocker. And moving him, if you can line him up inline, which you can because he blocks well enough for you to line him up inline, he will be a matchup nightmare. Linebackers can't run with him.
Yeah.
Corners aren't big enough to handle him. Like, Kyle Pitts is just fantastic.
He reminds me a lot of, I think a lot of people said Jimmy Graham, right? And I think that's cool and all. I would say Darren Waller of the Raiders is more of dude 6'5", plays like a receiver, but he can play anywhere, right? So I think that's the comparison to be made. And I'd say Darren Waller right now is probably the 3rd best tight end in the NFL. So a guy with those measurables, he looks like he could be special. I wouldn't take out Sewell either. If the Dolphins valued that O-line, they did their O-line
drafted tackles last year.
Yeah, they did draft last year. I wouldn't say their O-line's the best. It's probably like average, but they have put like talent into it, so they could go that route also.
Yeah, I mean, they're just sitting in a wealthy spot. And I brought that comment up because Grant also says that. And I think that's actually a really apt comparison. He says he's basically a big Shannon Sharp,
Yeah,
which, I mean, I guess he wears 84 and it kind of fits. But yeah, he's 6'6" Shannon Sharp, which is kind of insane.
yeah. No, he looks to be special. The only thing that is kind of concerning for me is like
His body.
no, not really that. You would think he would have dominated more in college, like statistics wise. Like, I don't think he was putting up like the insane numbers. Not that he should put up the insane numbers of like Jamar Chase or Smith, but like you would think he would have better or more yards and touchdowns. I think it was yards that he was a little lower on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he only had 770 yards, which I would. So I'd argue two things with that. One, as good as Dan Mullen is, I don't think college offenses utilize the tight end as well as NFL offenses do. So I'll say that. And two, he did play with a quarterback in Kyle Trask who put up good stats, who's a very good college quarterback, who I think has the opportunity to maybe be a fringe starter in the NFL. I think he's like a 3rd or 4th round pick, but that guy, like the catches he was forced to make to bail him out a little bit and stuff was I feel like that did hurt his stats a little bit. That's what I will say.
Yeah, that's my only thing where it's like you would think that like the way he's talked about and the obviously his speed and catching, like he would have better stats. But yeah, that's at the end of the day, that really just doesn't matter, and GMs don't like look at that as much as they look at he's 4.38 and he was 6'6". So,
I mean, that's probably the only criticism you can honestly have of him, if it's a criticism, like even then. But yeah, I agree with you.